The Japanese, because of the cost of the Japanese manufacturing, we have seen other companies moving from Japan to China. Panasonic's now moved all their manufacturing to China. I believe I could be wrong on this. You may correct me on this, but I think Sanyo has also moved to China. Of course, Osaki, Omega, Human Touch are all Chinese-made chairs. And are you going to? Do you think there's going to be a trend where one day that Inada might start manufacturing some chairs in China, or they may already do for other parts of the world? How does China fit into Inada's manufacturing picture, if at all?
So some of the upholstery and some of the kind of fit and finish stuff that you see on Sonyo today actually is kind of that piecework. Some of that's done in China today.
Okay.
And that's true of Yumi, and that's true of all Inada products.
Okay.
It is simply Japan is such a place to manufacture that it's simply not economically feasible to do stuff like cut and sew in Japan.
Right. Right.
But then Sonyo, the Sonyo Dreamwave and the Yumi are made in Japan products, which means that the vast majority of the assembly, the vast majority of the pieces and parts of the chair have to be Japanese products.
Right.
You asked about a trend. I think the trend is now well established. As far as I know, at this point, we are the only manufacturer, the only brand that will continue to make our chairs in Japan.
Yeah.
We're it in the U.S. in terms of distribution.
Yeah.
There are a couple of very, very small Japanese brands, but they really have less distribution network. Everything else is made in China. Some stuff is made in Taiwan. And I think you're going to see more stuff coming out of places like Vietnam, too, in the very near future. But we're committed to this made in Japan message. We're committed to the quality that comes out of products that are made in Japan. So what's going to happen is when Panasonic moves all of its production to China, and as you noted, some other brands are already in China, you may see some competition in the price point categories.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're made in Japan, we're really competing at the quality level. The message that we want to share with everybody is, if you want the best, talk to us, talk to you about not a branded chair.
Yeah. Well, it is a bit of a selling feature for folks when they come in or call me on the phone about the chairs. A lot of them ask, is this chair made in China, or is this chair made in Japan? Or they also ask if this chair is made in the USA. I think there's a lot of folks out there that would love to have an American-made chair that was a viable option, but I don't think there are any. But I can't speak to that precisely. But now, tell me a little bit about this Yumi. This Yumi, I think we got it a year ago, May or June, I'm not sure, but very nice chair, small chair. I think people were expecting, when the Yumi came out, they were expecting something to trump the Sonyo, but it is not. My experience has been that it has not been as popular as the Sonyo. It's not nearly as feature-rich as the Sonyo, but it does have some cool features now that are, and with Inada, it's always something innovative. As a matter of fact, I think most of the stuff that we see on the commonplace massage chair was pioneered. Most of those things were pioneered by Inada through the decades. But the Yumi's got the rocking and the thermoelliptical kneading in the calf, which is cool. But I've noticed that it's not nearly as popular as the Sonyo.
Well, and you've noticed that the other chairs that you carry are not nearly as popular as the Sonyo too, right?
Not a one of them.
Yeah. The problem is that Sonyo casts a long, long shadow. It's such a compelling product that you see a lot of the industry kind of giving chase, sometimes in more elegant ways than in one manufacturer than manufacturers. Sonyo has absolutely set the standard.
Yeah.
And when we were coming to market with Yumi, we certainly weren't expressing to consumers or to our dealers that this is going to trump Sonyo. What it really is a very, very high quality, again, Inada branded option to the Sonyo chair. And because it's got this Inada label on it, you can buy it with as much confidence as you would buy the Sonyo. It's still not an inexpensive chair. It is still very, very feature rich. And I'll tell you what, I would put the Yumi up against anything else from anyone else. The only chair that it's kind of not going to shine against is its brother, bigger brother,
Big brother.
the Sonia. And you know, you said that Inada has brought all this innovation to market, and all the major changes in the market have come from Inada. And Yumi's no exception. You talked about the thera-elliptical kneading for the calves. That's one brand new feature, never available before on a massage chair. The second thing is no massage chair has ever had a automatic rocking feature. You mentioned that as well. And the third thing, which is a little more subtle, if you haven't tried this, you really ought to try this. Turn down the lights.
Yeah.
Turn on the Yumi, and you've noticed on the remotes and then on the sides of the foot panels, there are what we call color kinetic LEDs. These are paced and designed with a certain color palette in such a way that the walls will sort of play in different colors, and that will add a visual relaxation to the physical massage experience. So here's the only chair to blend this visual experience with the physical experience together in one package. And if you haven't tried it, it's really cool, and your mind will go down very, very quickly as you sort of are engulfed in the glow that Yumi throws up against the walls that you're sitting here. Pretty cool stuff.
Well, in our showroom, we don't have the luxury of complete darkness in that room, but I'd like to try it. I know as a chiropractor there were certain chiropractic educators that espoused the chromotherapy idea, where they use different light flashing to elicit different brain responses, and so I'm familiar with the idea. I have never used it. I have seen a couple of the Osaki chairs come out with chromotherapy or those LED lights now, and so again, another thing that Inada pioneers. And now, speaking of imitations by other companies, this is one of the things that has been most remarkable to me about the Sonio. I have seen companies start showing up with these Sonio lookalikes, and I think Brookstone came out with one first, the U Astro, made by Osim, who owns Brookstone. Is again a Chinese-made chair, I believe, and then I think Omega has come out with one. I know Omega's come out with one. Osaki's come out with a couple. Cozy has come out with one, and who knows, however many other companies have come out with these imitations. But if imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, holy cow, Inada is truly a trendsetter, because this whole look, the whole design of the Sonio, which was so unique when it came out in '08, and that's what struck me immediately when I saw it. Now it's commonplace in one variation or another on these imitations. But I've also noticed that the quality, well, maybe I can't speak to the quality yet because I'm not as familiar with them. They haven't been out as long. But I would say the feature set and the massage is not nearly as rich or discriminating a massage or a quality massage as the Sonio. Do you have any input on that?
I don't. Let me put it in a way that maybe somebody shopping for a massage chair can understand very simply. It's our belief, and this is, the chairs are designed from the ground up this way. Both Sonio and Yumi are in every Inada chair. It's my personal belief that if a customer has the opportunity to really understand what an Inada chair is capable of doing, what kind of sensations it's capable of creating, and you use a wonderful word, how discriminating the massage is, how nuanced it is, how accurate it is. Once you understand all that, it's not going to be possible for you to buy anything else. And sometimes that can be a real stretch for consumers. I know that you have been able to offer financing to some consumers. Some of our other dealers offer financing. But we've had many folks who have struggled with stress or back pain who have put off vacations in order to be able to afford a Sonio chair because they have come to fully appreciate its capabilities through extended demonstration or use of the chair.
Yeah.
In the first 2 minutes, there's much less of a difference between massage chair models than there is in the first hour of use, than there is in the first week of use, first month, and first year. And as time goes on, the discriminating consumer, and all consumers are discriminating consumers, will begin to understand the enormous gap between what Inada is capable of bringing to market, designing and capable of bringing to market, versus everything else. And I'm not going to name names, versus everything else. That gap is enormous. And it's not a gap of features. It's a gap of feelings. It's a gap of ultimate deliverables. It's a gap of what is the deepest relaxation level you can achieve?
Mm-hmm.
What is the best back mobilization you can receive from a massage chair? And as you start to ask those bigger questions, the bigger the question, the better we smell at Inada.
Yeah.
And that's basically it.
Yeah. Well, I did have a customer come in just a week ago, and they sat on a couple of imitations, and I asked them what their budget was, and I think they said $3,000 to $4,000, and then they said, what's that chair over there? Of course, everybody always asks about the Sonia, and I said, well, you do not want to look at that chair. You don't want to sit in it because it's twice as much or more than twice as much as the ones that you've been sitting in. Well, they were there for an hour and a half, and by the end of the hour and a half, they just in parting, they wanted to go sit on the Sonia just for fun, just to see what it was like. Well, they ended up buying the Sonia, and I don't know how they afforded it. I don't know, I can't speak to their finances, but some way, somehow, they made it work, and they got a Sonia. And I've seen that in comparison. Now,
I guess the moral of this little segment of our chat is, if you don't want to be looking at the kind of ticket that Sonia represents, well, then by gum, don't sit in it, because once you do and once you understand it, it's very, very tough to really move away from it and consider other massage chairs.
Well, and there's of course folks that don't want the Sonia, they don't like it or whatever for whatever reason. I mean, not one chair makes everybody happy, but yeah, the vast majority of the people really do enjoy that chair. The Yumi, I noticed, and maybe you could speak to this, and this is more of the technology and the mechanics of the rollers, but the Inada has a very particular feel in the rollers. I noticed the Yumi has a different feel. It's I can't describe it. It almost feels like a more firm or something. I can't describe it, but is there a difference in the rolling mechanism between the Yumi and the Sonia?
Yes, the massage mechanism for the Yumi is completely redesigned and very different than the one in the Sonia.
Okay.
It's capable of very similar kneading motions, and the kneading in any Inada mechanism are derived from the digitized motions of a real massage master. So you're going to get very, very similar patterns built, but there is no question that the Yumi mechanism delivers out of the box a firmer massage experience on the back than the Sonia chair does. Sonia was deliberately built with a little bit more cushioning. It's a little more gentle. It's a little bit more subtle, but don't let that fool you, because Sonia can become quite firm as well.
Yeah, it really can. Yeah, we've noticed that.
But Yumi comes out of the box a little firmer, and you can soften it up. I mean, Yumi's delivered to customers' homes with an extra set of pads that can make the massage a little bit softer.
I noticed that the Yumi does have a very, very simple remote. I mean, it is probably the most basic, simple remote I've ever seen. The manual settings underneath the handle are still pretty typical, but I found that the main auto functions or the main auto programs is very, very simple on the Yumi.
And that's not an accident. We as a company, as a brand, we really don't believe that people should be doing battle with the interface between the product they bought and themselves. You mentioned Yumi, but Sonia is also probably the second most simple remote that's available on the market. Everything else, and I'm not sure why other manufacturers don't understand this, but I guess as a competitor, I'm glad they don't. Everyone else seems to add a lot of buttons, sometimes lights and sometimes sound, in a way that really detracts and distracts from the massage experience.
Well, I think also